have today? Lizzo is the jam. Okay, we're a little slanted, but feeling good as hell. So I am super pumped to be recording this live. I usually don't go live. Everything is usually pre-recorded. So this is just my wave right now. What I am about. I just want to speak freely to you guys, especially on this topic. Today we are talking about the truth about bold decisions. So if you are currently taking a bold decision, if you're thinking about it, this is the video for you. This is where you have to be right now, and I know that this video is going to find you. So I know that everybody that's tuning in, this is going to serve you in some way and to support you in this bold decision that you're thinking about or you're currently making. So as you jump on, whether you're joining me live, whether you're watching the aftermath of the live, right? Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're located right now in the world. I think it's so amazing that YouTube and just so many social media platforms can connect us all, no matter where we are. So if this is your first time tuning into my channel, my name is Bree, your empowerment coach. I am originally from New York, but I now live in Spain. September will be 3 years since I moved back, so I'm sure you can learn a little bit more about my story in some of my videos, but also on my Instagram I talk a little bit more about just my background, my personal experience, my professional experience, and how that combination is what inspired me and drove me to become a coach, an empowerment coach out of all types of coaches. So follow me on Instagram at thrive_with Bree. All the links to connect with me are also on my page as well, but let's get started. So, like I mentioned, you are here because you are also making a bold decision, or you're thinking about it. Maybe you've been, wanting to for some time now. So let me know in the comments. I love for whether it's a live, whether it's just a video that I've recorded. I love for it to be interactive. So please feel free to just come as you are. Ask any questions that's related to this topic, to the inner work, and feel free to participate in this conversation. So what is something that you're working towards? Right? Let me know in the comments. And also, when you think about bold decision, what comes to mind? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Also, let me know in the comments too. Because so often, when we hear the word or the phrase bold decision, we think of something just massive, right? You think about what I did, right? Moving from New York, not knowing a soul in Spain, not knowing anyone, and just moving abroad. It was a program that I did that was what first brought me to Spain, and it was really an experience in 2017, and then when I moved back in 2019, it really was a fresh start, or starting from zero, I want to say. It was starting from zero in both points. So that can be considered as a bold decision, right? But that's not the case at all. A bold decision is not something that is so big, that seems so kind of impossible for you to even think about doing it for yourself, like moving to another country or moving to another state. But a bold decision is so much more than that. The reason that it's bold is because it's something that pushes you outside of your comfort zone. It's something that you're not familiar with. It's something that you've never done. So of course, it feels super massive to you, no matter what that bold decision might be, whether it be, really saying to yourself, I'm not happy at my job. I really want to leave. I already have X, Y amount saved. I can actually leave. But it's the fear of leaving, of the instability that keeps you there. But if you're at this point that you're just like, nope, I can survive. I know everything will be okay. And taking that leap to leave your job, that's your bold decision, right? Maybe another bold decision is, you know what, my health has been an issue for me for a while, and I feel like I need to do something different. I'm going to go vegan, or I'm going to be vegetarian. Whatever the case may be, like just making this big change for you, once again, based on how you were eating before, that's going to be a bold decision for you because it's something completely different that you don't know how to go about it. And that's what is so amazing about bold decisions, is because you don't know what you're doing. You're just following this instinct, and that is the best thing that you can do for yourself is following your intuition. By just like, even if it doesn't make sense, this idea that pops into your mind, because it doesn't make sense, you're saying, you know what, I'm just going to go with it anyways. I'm just going to trust this decision. That is your bold decision. So as I'm speaking and giving these examples about bold decisions, if anything comes to your mind about what your bold decision is that you're currently embarking in, or maybe you've been thinking about, like I said, let me know in the comments. So I also, since this is live, I just want to say that I do have some notes, certain things that I really want to get across that I believe is most important and valuable for you. So I will be referring to my notes from time to time. But when you think about taking a bold decision, when you're reading books about being the most successful version, about establishing good habits, about establishing these helpful habits that make you most successful. When you're reading these books, these self-development books, when you're listening to the podcast, I love Jay Shetty. I'm gonna give him a shout out because I love his podcast. So there's no shade that I'm throwing about reading self-development books, about listening to a podcast, about joining some type of network of aligned people that are also super ambitious, also wanting to go towards something big, wanting to create something more for themselves. No matter what it is that you're currently doing, um, it's great. It's all great things. And I'm sure you know that because you've been reading about it. You've been doing the work. You've been figuring out how to be this most successful, ambitious, and fulfilled version of yourself when it comes to really creating these long-term goals for yourself. Well, making these long-term goals a reality, right? Starting little by little, you're working towards it. So everything that you're doing is right. Let me just tell you that. But there is another part to making a bold decision, which is why this is the truth about making a bold decision, is that yes, you need the support. You want to work on your level of confidence. You want to know what exactly it is that you want. You want to believe in yourself and believe in the action steps that you're taking, and knowing that everything you're doing is going to work out for the higher good, to your advantage as well. We know all this. We know that we need to be in the right mindset to to take the leap, to make this bold decision. And when you think about it, making each step that you take towards making a bold decision is ultimately you manifesting, right? Because each step, no matter how small it may be, is going to help you get to this bigger dream, this vision that you see, that boldness that you're just like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy, I can't believe I'm going after this. But this is what I really want. I really want to do different. I really want a different job that pays me well and that I feel excited to work for. I really want to start my own business just because this idea came to my mind and I have a passion to paint, to create, to code, whatever it is, that idea has popped into your mind for a reason, right? So, and this is why I have notes, because sometimes I go on a tangent, I lose my train of thought, but pretty much you know what the steps are towards making these bold decisions. We hear about them all the time. But what we don't usually hear is that we need to feel the confidence, to believe in ourselves, to believe in the action steps that we're taking, to believe in the vision, right? To believe that we can manifest this job, this relationship, whatever it is that you're looking for, to believe that we can actually manifest it in this physical world, you need a foundation. We need to lay a foundation for ourselves. And that foundation, just like the word foundation, is like, it's the beginning level of anything. Everything has a foundation, right? So we also need that foundation ourselves, and we have it. We believe in the chakras. We have our root chakra at the base of our spine, which is our chakra known for grounding us, for helping us feel secure within ourselves. And when that is misbalanced, that's where we begin to feel the fear, the anxiety, and the stress, and the doubt, right? When you start going after your goal, or you're even thinking about it, because you still feel stuck. You still feel like something's holding you back from really going for it, because you have that voice saying, who do you think you are? Going after X, Y, and Z. Right? Why can this happen to you? Why is this even possible for you? I'm not enough to have this. Whatever is the belief that you only know, that is always repeating in your mind every time you try to do something new, every time a new idea pops into your mind, that vision, that either may potentially bring you back to this initial vision that you always thought about, that you always wanted to go after, that you just haven't really felt able to, right? So you need a solid foundation, and the foundation is you feeling secure within yourself. It's that simple. It sounds simple, right? When I say it, oh, you just have to feel secure with yourself. But it's so much more challenging than you think. So why? Why is it so challenging to feel secure within ourselves, to go after our goals, to have that inner security and inner trust in the action steps that we take, and knowing that we're worthy enough for our goals, and knowing that we deserve it, that we deserve to have everything and more just because we're here on this earth, following our dream, following our destiny, following the reason why we're ultimately here. I do believe we all have a mission, and this is my mission. So I am just super blessed to be able to be here speaking with you today and just sharing this different perspective for you to decide to adopt or not. I always talk about this in my videos, not to get sidetracked, but I talk about, it's up to you to decide what to adopt what you're consuming. So this goes to this video that you're watching, any video on my page, social media, the news, the music, your Netflix account, everything that you're consuming is going to influence your subconscious and how you think and what you believe and the type of energy that you are ultimately allowing into your body. So for example, I no longer watch scary movies because it makes me so anxious. I can't do it. And I'm just like, why am I going to put myself through that? I don't enjoy it, right? And watching these scary movies just heighten my level of anxiety, which is something that I already work through, that I'm already working through, right? And I'm already managing. So why am I going to make that work? So what you consume is influencing you on all these levels. So it's up to you to decide, am I going to adopt this perspective that Bree is talking about? Am I going to adopt the type of drama that I'm watching on reality TV? Sometimes you need it, sometimes you need to disconnect. I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's just about being mindful about what you're consuming and knowing what you're actually allowing into your energetic being, right? So, like I said, I don't want to get too sidetracked on that, on what you're consuming, but I want to go back to the point that I was making about you sharing this perspective shift around bold decisions and around the truth behind it. So it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to adopt this perspective shift. But it is something very interesting that we don't always hear. So I would appreciate you taking the time to just be here and listen. Even if it's like you're listening to a podcast, you can't fully listen to me, that's all right. Put on some headphones and just listening. So this sense of security, we don't always think about having to need this foundation to feel, rooted within our body. And these are phrases that I learned along my own spiritual awakening, and it's something that sometimes it sounds strange. Like, what does that even mean to feel rooted? That is something for you to explore. If you're watching this and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about feeling grounded, about being rooted within your body, about trusting yourself, that's your calling. This is your moment. This is your sign to know that this is what I need to explore next about myself. If you're already into thinking about your self-development, thinking about how to support yourself to actually achieve your goals. And the reason that we're not taught to create this level of security about ourselves is because once we go back and think about everything that we're consuming, when we think about how the expectations that society places on us, when we think about even our upbringing, we're always told that we need to work hard, we need to be assertive, we need to be competitive, we need to be confident, we need to be just super ambitious. All of these like masculine, excuse me, all of these masculine traits of do. But no matter what your gender is, we all have feminine and masculine qualities that we need to keep balanced because we need the two. We need the masculine energy to go after our goals, but we also need the feminine energy of being to help us create that foundation that I was telling you about before, to feel secure so that you can do. Because you know that you're creating, and you're taking action from a place of trust, from a place of inner peace, from a place of just, there's no need to compare, there's no need to compete, there's no need to feel the fear or the doubt because you feel secure enough with yourself. So that is something for you to start to explore how you want that to look like for you. How do you want to feel grounded and supported within your body? What does that even look like for you as well? So something to think about some more. But the reason that we're not taught all these things is because, it's almost seems like these traits of making sure that we're feeling secure and grounded and we take a step back to actually take care of ourselves, give ourselves that break in between our tasks, in between the do. We see that as being weak. That is what society has instilled in us, that taking care of ourselves, doing something different compared to what everyone else, what the collective, everyone else is doing, means you're strange, means you're weird, means that, you're also weak as well. But all these examples that I'm giving about us believing that we're weak or believing that we're strange or that we're not doing the right thing to go after our goals, to be so successful and ambitious and fulfilled, we see all those things as wrong. And all of that, in a sense, because we're seeing it as wrong, is a limiting belief. It's a limiting belief that we have subconsciously, without even knowing, so it's not even our fault, have adopted as what is true in taking a bold decision. That when we start to feel the fear, when we start to feel the doubt, when we start to feel just unsure about ourselves and the goal that we're going after, we ignore it, right? Either we continue to overwork ourselves. We continue working and we continue working and we just continue to distract ourselves. Maybe we also, because we get to a point of just feeling incapable of managing the fear and the doubt, that you can really also fatigue. There's a whole spectrum of how you can react. Either you're all the way over here to the left, where you're just overworking, you're taking on extra shifts, or after work, you're meeting up with friends, you're going out for some drinks, or some cocktails, which is fine, right? There's no shade being thrown at going out and meeting up with your friends, having a good time. But it's about why you're doing it. If you're doing it to genuinely connect and meet up with your friends, or if you're doing it to distract yourself from what you're actually feeling, right? So you're here, you're super energized on the left side of this spectrum of management, behavior, emotion management. You're super energized, so you're doing the most just so you don't feel these emotions. So then the other side of our little spectrum here, to the right hand side, where you're just like, oh, I can't with life. You just find yourself on the couch after work, just binging on Netflix, snacking loads, right? Just really feeling like you're going within a shell. Like you're a little turtle and you're going within this shell because you just have no energy. You can't do any more, anything more. And don't get me wrong, there's moments where, yeah, we feel tired. We feel physically tired, mentally tired, emotionally tired, and we need to give ourselves this break. And we feel better after we do. But there's other times that is a part of the inner work for you to be able to distinguish. Am I taking this break because I genuinely need it, I genuinely need to recharge? Or am I taking this break because the way I'm feeling right now is a behavior being influenced by fear, that my fear is keeping me stagnant, that my fear is not allowing me to take some type of action step to progress because it is scared about the outcome, it is scared about the action steps I've already taken, that is leaving me feeling, well, what is the outcome going to be? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't get accepted? What if I'm not loved? It always comes down to when we feel fear, we're feeling fear of maybe being abandoned, about being rejected, about not being accepted and loved as we ultimately truly want to have in our life. So I want you to reflect on where you fall in the spectrum. If you're super energized, distracting yourself, or if you find yourself super fatigued and also distracting yourself. So think about that in this throughout this conversation that we have. Because wherever you fall on this spectrum of emotional and mental management in relation to taking these bold decisions is ultimately how you cope, and it gives you more insight on how you believe your process should look like, how you believe your process towards success, towards achieving your results should look like. And usually we've all adopted this, that within the process of achieving our goals, our fears, doubts, and guilt and shame cannot exist. It can't. But it does. Because of our life experiences, because of everything that we've experienced up to this point. And to some degree, we have all experienced some form of trauma, whether it be something very, what can be considered a little bit more minor, and trauma to no extent is minor. But usually when we think of the word trauma, we think of abuse, we think of natural disasters, we think of ourselves being uprooted from our home, just with force, without our own saying. But trauma can also be bullying. Trauma is any reoccurring distressful event, either reoccurring or singular. So for the singular event, it was that profound that it changed your biological makeup. It changed your DNA, because whether it be a singular or reoccurring stressful, difficult event that you experience, it changes how you cope, it changes how you react, it changes how you view yourself and how you view the world. So no matter what you've been through, your painful, distressing experience or experiences is then going to alter how you react to anything else. And when I say anything else, to these bold decisions. When you're making a bold decision, you're simply doing something different, something that's uncomfortable. You are triggering something in your body that is saying, this is new. We need to protect ourselves. We need to be safe. Right? Your body goes into full flight and fight mode, thinking about how to protect you, even though you're not in harm's way. But because you taking this bold decision is triggering an emotion within you that is similar to the distressing and difficult event or event, right? It is categorizing this sensation and this belief to be the same as your past experiences. Even though it's not true, your mind doesn't know any differently. Your mind believes everything that you tell it. This is why the inner work is so important, to understand how your past experiences have influenced you and how they're currently holding you back. So to find that security within yourself to make these bold decisions, you really do need to observe the past and how that has impacted your body, aka how it's impacted your nervous system, because our nervous system is ultimately what changes when we experience these traumatic events, right? Our nervous system is just trying to figure out how to cope, how to keep ourselves calm. So from these past events, we have learned to cope by being over here, super energized, distracting yourself doing the most, to shutting down, withdrawing, and distracting yourself in that way. So by understanding your nervous system and how it reacts to stressors, because yeah, taking a bold decision is going to activate stress within you. But when you're feeling safe and grounded, and your body and mind knows that nothing wrong is happening, that you're just doing something new, and it might be scary, but it's not the same level of fear and panic as that traumatic past experience was, you are able to make the bold decision with trust in yourself, in what you're doing, because you don't have the fear and the guilt and the shame and the doubt, all of it just like speaking to you and just clouding your judgment and making you overthink what is actually true and what is actually not, right? And you don't feel like you're having this inner battle with yourself about or questioning every single thing that you do. Doesn't that drive you crazy when you are thinking about your bold decision, when you're thinking about making this change ultimately in your life, that you feel this conflict about like, but if I do this, what if this happens? But if I don't do it, then I'm still in the same place. And it's just like this constant inner battle that I can imagine you are over, because I have been there myself. And I still go through this internal mental conflict with myself, but I'm able to take a step back and detach myself from the thought that I'm having or the emotion that I'm having, knowing that it's just an experience. It's not who I actually am in that moment. I am not stress. I am not fear. I am not anxiety. I am Bree. And I'm everything else that I want to be, which is the joy, the abundance, the gratitude. That's what I choose, right? And we all have that option to choose how we want to feel and the type of mindset that we want to have throughout our journey as we are making these bold decisions. So before we can get to that place, we need to understand first what is happening, right? We need to understand our nervous system. We need to understand how these experiences, these past experiences, not only have they influenced the limiting beliefs that we have, but also how the emotions that were triggered from this past traumatic experience, where that lies in our body, right? The tension that we can feel in our neck. I know that's where I usually feel it, in my shoulders, in my jaw. Maybe you feel kind of butterflies in your stomach at times. All these sensations are not for nothing. They're not to make you feel uncomfortable. I know we hate them. I know they're annoying. They make you feel like, oh, this is yuck, and you just want to get rid of them. But these sensations are messages from your body. So ultimately, to create this foundation that we talked about in the beginning, the security within yourself, to make the bold decisions, you need to reconnect your body and your mind, right? There needs to be this flow so you understand the sensations that are happening, what emotion is actually tied to that sensation that you're feeling, and then also understanding the belief that goes with that emotion, that then equals that then give you insight on how that past experience has impacted you. For you to just feel it, for you to let it go, for you to create a new narrative for yourself, for you to validate your past experiences because no one else will. Only you can create that comfort for yourself, that love to nurture yourself through that experience. So something that I want you to also think about is that when we are having this limiting belief around our bold actions and decisions that we want to take, when we start to feel the fear and the doubt, it's just like, oh my gosh, like this is just too much. It's just too big. It's too grand. The things that I want to go after, I can't do it because we start to feel that fear. But I want you to take in consideration that you feeling the stress and the fear and the doubt is not about the decision. It's not about the action step. It's about the belief that is formed around this decision. And usually, this belief that is formed around this decision is a belief that has already existed. It's a belief that is embedded deep in the root level of who we are. It is a belief that has already held us back in the past. We just haven't noticed it. Right? How were we? We weren't taught to have this type of self-awareness and self-insight about ourselves. We're taught about looking at everything else, everything in the exterior, everything that is logical, right? We're not taught to tap into our intuition and feel this connection between our body, mind, and our soul to give us the guidance we need to feel confident enough and have that trust to go forward in our goals. So I want you to keep that in mind, that it's about what you feel is not about the decision. So don't let what you feel stop you from going after what you truly, truly, truly want. I know you want it because I know that you're already doing the inner work. You're here right now tuning into this video, being here with me, chatting, listening to this because you want something different. So trust that feeling. Trust the pull that you're getting towards things that you should be doing rather than feeding into the emotion, thinking that because I'm scared, I can't do this. It's too much for me because it's not the decision that's making you scared. It's the belief around this decision about you doing something different and uncomfortable. So that is what's the amazing thing, that it's a belief that is holding you back. It's an emotion that is holding you back. Yes, all because of a past experience that can be painful to revisit, but when you have the proper support, whether it be a therapist or whether it be a coach, you are able to do this exploration in a very safe space to the point that you are reliving the past, but in an empowering way that allows you to recreate the narrative and that allows you to now say, what are the beliefs that actually match the goals that I want, that I can adopt, that I choose to adopt from this moment forward. So I really just wanted to mention it as well. And something for you to think about too is two things. Firstly is on an individual level. What is the activity that you can do that is going to help you cultivate that sense of security? Like we were talking about in the beginning, so you feel super grounded and rooted in your body, in the thoughts that are coming up that are telling you, why don't you try this meal? This meal looks cool. Or why don't you try, applying to this company you did to your job posting the other day? Or you're on a dating app, that intuition of, this person, we don't know much about them, but I just have an urge to send them a message, right? You know, what is going to help you feel that security to take these action steps on an individual level? So is that continuing to do what you're already doing? Or do you feel like that is not working for you? Do you feel like you need to speak to someone? Do you feel that you need to go on a retreat? Do you feel like you need to take a course? What is it that is going to help you feel the security that is something different from what you're already doing, that you feel like it's just not genuinely serving you in the way that you want it to? So that's the first one. The second one is that what is the supportive activity that you can get a month? So you want to think about the individual, right? And then you want to think about the support, the exterior of it. So what does that look like? Does that look like you receiving coaching? Does that look like you seeing a therapist? Does that look like you connecting with a network circle of other people who are doing the same exact thing that you want to do? Does that look like you joining some type of organization or membership that is relevant to your degree, let's say? Is that a Facebook group? There's tons of Facebook groups. Is there a Facebook group that you believe can give you this collective support? Because when we also align ourselves with other people, when we have these moments of insecurity and doubt, we can turn to these circles to support us. We can turn to them where they can share a different perspective, or where they can give us that validation that we always look for. Maybe when we're talking to our partners or when we're talking to our friends, and they may not know what to say to us because they're not going through the same things that you are. But when you or they're not going after the same things you are and want. But when you're in a circle of people who are doing the same things, they know what it's like to feel where you're at. So they can better support you in letting you know that it's all right to feel what you're feeling, that you can still move forward, where you have first-hand testimonials of what is possible for you based on others, and not in a way of comparison that, oh, I'm not there yet. No, but it's like, they got that. I know them. I can do that too. I'm in the right circle of support. So really thinking about how can you create this sense of security in yourself? How can you feel that trust? How can you feel that worthiness? How can you feel that, yes, I deserve this? I might not know how I'm going to do it, but I deserve to have this abundant, full, fulfilling life. I deserve that. So how are you going to get that support to feel this sense of security within yourself? And if you feel like you're ready to get more in-depth support, I want to let you know that I have a 4-step process within Mindset Awakening, which is a one-on-one coaching, private experience where we will be working together for 4 months. Let me put this, 4 months. And throughout these 4 months, we are exploring the blockages within your body, helping you reconnect with your body, to explore on a root level just how the trauma, how the emotions, and how the beliefs have ingrained themselves inside of you, to then release them, to create a new narrative, to then begin to explore the reality that you want to create, and not just with vision boards, but truly taking it to another level where you feel like it is tangible, it is possible for you, to then feeling like this new empowered version of yourself where you have that solid foundation. We spoke about that in the beginning, of the truth of making a bold decision is you feeling the security, and to feel the security, you need that solid foundation that works for you. Not for me, not for anyone else, but for you. Because we're all different, and we all have different needs, different desires, and different experiences that may be similar to others, but we need to care for them in potentially different ways and manage them in different ways. So not only do you learn how to ultimately coach yourself through these moments of uncertainty and insecurity and just all the heaviness that you feel, but you also create a solid foundation that even after this program, you step away knowing how to best support yourself, knowing how to take these bold decisions from a place of security for the rest of the chapters in your life. Because we're all going to go through different roles throughout our life. So no matter where you're at, you always have your little toolbox to fall back on, to continue to move through any obstacles that comes your way. And even when an obstacle does present itself, you just accept it with gratitude. Because you're just like, you know what, this obstacle is here because it's bringing me a lesson that I need. It's bringing me more self-insight that I need. Because the inner work never ends. So this program ultimately just allows you to facilitate the inner work with ease, to just be a natural manifester, to permanently manifest change in your life. So it is some good stuff, I'm telling you. It is a combination of psychodynamic approaches, a combination of spiritual practices, just a combination of the work that I've done. Like I mentioned, my past experience, I was a therapist in New York, so it's using a lot of the approaches that I practiced then, tying into the spiritual practice that I use now, providing this well-rounded body, mind, and soul approach for you to ultimately live this fulfilled life and have the dream career, relationship, and lifestyle that you have always desired. So I will leave the links below for you to apply, to get started, to learn more about it, and to explore if this is the right fit for you and the next step that's going to help you create this inner security within yourself. So thank you so much for tuning in. This was amazing. I absolutely loved talking. I didn't expect it to be this long, but um, I believe everything that was meant to come through has come through for you. So let me know what you thought about this live video, if I should do more live videos, and what were some of your takeaways as well. And you can always contact me on Instagram at thrive_with3, or even email me at breemosqueracoaching@gmail.com. So if you aren't a part of the Thrive with Bree community, subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and until the next live or video, continue surviving and shining.